Debbie Marks is a multi-award-winning events and wedding planner and runs the highly creative wedding planning and styling company Qube Events and Productions. Widely respected as one of the leading venue stylists in the UK, Debbie has recently become a business growth mentor, helping event companies and wedding industry suppliers grow and scale their businesses via her Facebook group, the Event Design and Rental Business Hub. I asked Debbie about her main focus points, how she has grown her business, and what she thinks the future might hold for the wedding industry. Hi, thank you so much for your time today. It's great to see you. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, well, my name's Debbie Marks. I am the owner of event decor and styling business Qube Events and Productions. We're based in Manchester, and we're a luxury decor company. We have several aspects of our business. So we have the design, bespoke design side, where a client will come to us and we'll design their entire wedding for them, or event for them. Then we also have Qube Event Hire, which is our decor range. So we have a catalog of decor, and it may be that brides will come to us and say, right, I want this. They can hire it from us and they come and collect it from us. And we also support other event companies and other stylists where they can use us to add to their initial range. So they'll come and choose from our catalogue. Again, either we'll deliver it to them or they collect from us. So there's a huge range of decor from there. And we also have Hollywood Letters and Lights, which is our 6-foot light up letter and lighting range for events.
So the first question I have for you right now is what do you love most about what you do?
I think the best thing that I love about is that no two events are the same. Every event that we do is completely different. And when we work with our clients, because we're a styling business, and we don't like churning out the same decor again and again. And when the clients come to us, we're literally starting with a blank piece of paper and designing something amazing. So every bride has their own stamp on their wedding. And I think that's the bit that I love most about it.
You must have seen a few things in your time, especially in the wedding world. Any favourite client moments that you're able to and allowed to share?
I've got lots of client, lots of client moments. You know, my favourite thing about all clients really is that moment that they walk into their room the first time and they see their decor, and quite often we get tears, and we get happy tears. But that is actually my favourite bit, because you've been planning and you've been working with events for so long, and all the details and everything that a bride puts in, and then she walks into the room for the first time and it's wow. It's that is my all-time favourite moment, and usually I'm hiding in the corner in the room or something just to see their reaction. Occasionally I'll have my camera out and I'll catch that moment on my camera, but yeah, and then it usually ends up with big hugs and cuddles from the bride, and that's just before the guests come into the room. So it kind of that gives me that buzz, and that's the thing that keeps me going. However many times you do an event, you won't that is my favourite moment of all time.
I can imagine. I mean, you guys are under a lot of pressure, because not only does the bride and groom and family expect great things, but you're in the room when she sees or they see your work. Same with hair and makeup artists. I always feel for you guys, because as a photographer, I take the photographs and then they see them remotely, and I don't have to have that slightly awkward moment of, do you like them? Do you love them? or whatever. But you have to. So yeah, I can imagine you hiding in the corner and just fingers crossed. But deep down, they're going to love what you've done, because you've worked so closely with them, I'm sure. Tell us a little bit about your business. What it is you do, what you focus on particularly to achieve the success you have.
Okay, so for Qube Events, we're an all-round decor and styling company. My background is event planning, and I've been a wedding and event planner for years, and I did my degree in events, and I've always worked in various roles of events, even going back to working on corporate events and logistics. And for me, as an event planner, I know how many different things you're juggling when you're an event planner. Even if you're a bride, you're planning your own event, and there's lots of different pieces on it, and that can be really stressful in itself. And for me, the one thing that I wanted to put forward at Qube Events is we want to make event planning easy for the client, or whether we're working with an event agency or bride or whoever. I want the whole experience to be easy for them, and that's what we're all about. And it's about providing quality decor, quality service, and making your event easy. And that's my whole kind of concept and vision that we brought through everything.
For sure. But if you had to pick 3 things that you've done in your business, that you've implemented in your business, that have help propel you to success, what would those top 3 things be?
I'd say kind of trying to be ahead of the game with everything, and don't necessarily follow trends, like create trends. I'm not like a big one of like, I don't necessarily read loads of wedding magazines, or I don't like trawl every other company and see, oh, what are they doing, and then copy it. I'd rather like create my own decor. Yeah, you may take inspiration from different things, but be proud of your own work and put it out there and make your own stamp on decor. You'll find that other people will copy you, but you've got to just take that as a form of flattery, because that happens all the time. But you've got to just be on to the next thing already, and keep going with that. So that's really important. I would say customer service is key. Like, it's essential that right from the beginning, even from that point where you get that first initial inquiry, if you get back to that bride or groom straight away, initially they're going to have a really positive experience with you. If they're waiting 2 or 3 days for a reply, it doesn't put you off to a great start. And especially how like tech savvy or our brides and grooms are now, like they want something instant, they want something straight away, and being on the ball customer service is essential. Because also, if you're delivering amazing customer service and you're delivering a product that the brides and grooms are going to love, they're going to rave about you after. You're going to get those testimonials, you're going to get everything that's really going to help propel your business. So that is so important, to make sure that you've got that, because if a client has a bad experience, they're not going to recommend you. If they're going to have an amazing experience and you've gone above and beyond, they're going to want to tell the world about it. Also, work on the flip side. If you provide a really bad service, they're going to tell the world not to use you. So it's really important that you have a big focus on that. And I find a lot of people don't value that, and it's so important. And then the third thing is, be really strong on your branding and who you are as a company and your marketing. If you might have great marketing and different things, but if you're not shouting about what you are or what you're doing, no one's going to find you. So having a strong brand and really kind of being as visible as possible is so important.
That's really interesting to hear. On your branding side of things, how did you develop your branding over the years? Did you do it yourself, or did you employ someone to help you with it?
So I did it a bit of both. Initially, the name Qube came from my brother's school project, which he had to come up with a design logo for school, and I was like, oh, and it just happened to be the same time I was starting. I was like, oh, I quite like that, I'm going to pinch that. And it has evolved over the years, and we've developed it. I have worked with branding companies in the past, and we've developed brand guidelines. So everything that we're putting out is we're using certain colors and certain style, and there's certain way, like we're really strong. If somebody else is using our logo on something, it's like, this is how it needs to be displayed. Or so it's really been a big focus of us. And even with our website and how it's presented, I have spent quite a lot on marketing, but it's been a huge thing of having a really strong brand has made such a difference. If your brand's a bit wishy-washy, like people are not going to buy into you, and they're not going to have that trust with you. But if you look amazing and you put yourself out there, like, and you're backing that up with customer service and the products and everything, is really going to propel you much quicker than having like a weaker brand behind it.
I want to ask you some questions, obviously, about coronavirus and COVID-19. It's affecting everybody in every aspect of life, personal, business, just everything. So I know that lots of people watching will want to know how it's affected you and what you've done. I'm interested particularly in, and obviously there's no events happening at the moment,
Yeah.
but I'm interested in what are the things that you've done to ensure that your business survives lockdown and actually can maybe even hopefully continue to grow after we've come through the current situation.
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, like the biggest thing that I wanted to come out of this is I want people to remember us. And being visible is probably the biggest thing that we've been doing this time. Like, we've been non-stop on our social media, we've been doing competitions, we've been doing interviews, we've been doing as much as we can to get ourselves out there. We haven't stopped selling. Just because we can't operate and run events now, it doesn't mean that brides and grooms are not planning a weddings for next year or the next couple of years. So that was so important for me, that we carried on doing that, and we adapted the way that we were working with clients. So usually we would invite clients in for a free styling consultation in our event studios, but now we've moved that all online. So we've been doing virtual consultations, pretty much like how we're doing now, and I've been working with brides to really develop and design their entire days, which has been working so well, because I can still pretty much do exactly the same as I would do if they were in a studio, and I would still start with a blank piece of paper and I would draw them sketches. I'm just like holding them up to the camera. So I do that live as we're doing that, because when I do consultations, and me very much, I design on the spot. So by the time we'd finished a consultation, a bride will have a whole entire wedding designed for her. Obviously there's a few tweaks, that details that come down the line, but they really be able to get like a good understanding of how their wedding is going to look and feel, and showing them pictures and things, and it's been working really well. So sales has been a massive thing, and that's one of the things that I love doing. Both, like, I'm like a huge marketing and sales girl, and like just converting those inquiries and knowing how to convert them has been so important. And I've been selling this. The level of sales, I say, is not as much as we would be normally, but considering, I feel like I've done pretty well for what I've sold so far, ready for next year. And especially as we've been rescheduling so many weddings for this year, they've moved into next year. And then, so 2021 brides have really thought, oh, our dates are going, all our key dates are going. We need to contact suppliers now, and especially get the dates booked in. So we found quite a few 2021 couples are thinking, you know what, I might actually have to start planning earlier than I usually would. And it has been working really, really well. So it's that, I feel like that's future proofing us in a bit, that we know that we're not just got the rescheduled work next year, we've got new bookings for next year and the year after that we're securing now.
Oh, that's good to hear. I mean, I know that there's a lot of pain in the industry at the moment because there's no weddings happening, with no clear guidelines or guidelines at all about when weddings might open up again. But because of the time over which couples plan their weddings, a year or more, couples are booking now for next year in 2022. Their wedding, they want to get married. There's a question of when. Plus, as you say, the postponements, which are tricky for many suppliers to renegotiate that postponement or find a new date and accommodate everybody. But the good news is that I think our industry is pretty well placed to ride this out, because people still want to get married. Couples are getting engaged, they want to get married, and there's a long lead time traditionally anyway. So it's great to hear that you are having that success on the sales front, because there's no reason why you should not be looking after those couples coming in who just got engaged last week, and the fact that you can use tools like Zoom, as we are today, and other tools like that to have those consultations virtually, it's just an absolute result. I mean, I wonder whether you might want to carry on doing that afterwards. Is that? Do you think you will?
I so want to carry on. I so want to carry on doing it this way, and it means I can meet more people. It takes up for a bride and groom, like they can do it from the comfort of their own home. They're not having to come out. Yes, it's nice to come into our studios, but they're going to be able to do that anyway. When they come for their final details meeting, they're going to have the experience of doing that. So this is really like an initial way of just having an amazing opportunity to do it. So I think it's definitely something that I'm going to carry on and push to do after.
It's really interesting. I think we've all got used to this, both supplier side and bride or groom or couple side. Everyone's used to doing it this way, and I think you're right, it'll probably continue. I want to take you back a few years now, if I can, and ask you a little bit about the Wedding Industry Awards and how you got involved, and then particularly initially what it was that attracted you to the awards in the first place.
Yeah, so I think for me, we actually, when we first entered the awards, we entered it was back in our wedding planning days. So we entered as wedding planners initially. And for me, I think it's having recognition of all the hard work that we do. You spend like hours and hours doing something, and it's just like, for me, like, it's just having that, that praise, or, something really, like, really somebody saying, oh, wow, you've won something, you've done really good, you've done something really amazing with what you do. So I think that was a big thing for us, having that recognition. And I think when I first entered, like, I never in a million years thought I'd win, but it's just something, I felt like, what, let's just put ourselves out there to do it. And we did it, and like, it's been amazing what has happened since. But yeah, I'm so glad I just pushed myself to do it.
We want people to think of it as part of their marketing, because it is about creating. It can help create content for social media. The journey of going through the awards is exciting for your audience. So it's good to hear that you sort of just went for it, because I think the way we run the awards, it's not about, obviously, you don't have to do hundreds of weddings. It's for businesses of all shapes and sizes. And I know you entered relatively early on in your career, so your events career for sure. So that's really good to hear. You alluded to the fact that it helped your business. I'm interested to know a little bit more about that. How did it help your business?
Yeah, I definitely think, I feel like as a business, we've kind of been on a journey with Tuia, and we've grown alongside yourselves. And I think it's been a huge game changer really for us, because every time we entered, we felt like we needed to up our game each time to get better and better. And so it really made us push forward. For example, we know that somebody's going to be judging us, so we need to make sure that our social media and our website presence and everything is kind of spot on, because a lot of these judges, they don't know our events, so they don't know the ins and outs of the events, and really they can only go off what we've got marketing wise, plus obviously what our clients say. So that was it. That definitely made me up my game on that side, and really take a look at what are we doing, and what could we do better? What could we do better to serve our clients in all aspects? So that, it definitely pushed us that way. I'd say visibility, and also like network as well. Like for me, when I first started my business, I didn't really know anyone else in the wedding industry, and just going to the awards or the regional awards ceremonies and getting to know other suppliers was a really big thing for me. And it kind of, then off the back of that, that's where you get referrals from other suppliers, and you get recognition from other people in the industry. So when people see your work, or you start working on jobs and things together, there's a whole kind of partnership that kind of grows out of that. And especially when you start winning awards, people think you must be good because you've been winning awards. And then it's, people talk in the industry, and it gives you that whole growth, and that's something to propel your business off, which is so important. And that visibility, because I'd say even if you don't win, like being part of the awards is a huge thing, because it gives you those tools to put out on social media. I've been nominated for an award, let's shout about it on social media, because the brides and grooms, they just see a logo quite often, and they've seen that you're part of an award service, and they want to get in touch with you because they want to be part of a company that cares about their development, and they'll be proud of what they're doing and proud of what they've achieved. So it's really important to be part of that and really make the most of every opportunity that you get. And I really took that on board, because you could enter awards and do nothing, and you could just enter and do nothing, but that's not what it's about. You've got to use it as a marketing tool for your business, and some ways, like, just use that opportunity, and, like I say, milk it as much as you can, and be proud of it. And
that's the whole point. I mean, you can't just sit there and not do anything about it. It's interesting hearing you talk about the network. Sorry, I interrupted you, but it's interesting to hear you talking about the networking aspect, because for us, it's a major benefit of this. Is the wedding industry runs on both sides of the fence, if you like, both on the supplier side and on the couple side, in little interconnected groups of recommendation, or little networks. So on the supplier side, you would recommend, people will ask you all the time, do you know a photographer, do you know a hairstylist, florist, what have you? If you can recommend bona fide suppliers that you've worked with before, who may or may not have come through Tuia, then that's great for you. And there's a network, and they'll do the same for you. And the same is happening on the other side of the fence with brides and grooms, as you mentioned earlier, that people are recommending great suppliers to their friends and family. And something like Tuia can really help create those networks and then help sustain them. So it was really interesting hear you say that, because I don't think many people think of that as a benefit. And you were talking about the using it, promoting it, and I think lots of people are quite worried about don't know how to, or worried about, well, what about if I tell everyone I've entered and then I don't win? But you just have to be honest and make that story as you go along, but you'll pull people with you and it'll help raise your profile. It's exciting for your audience. Social media is all about that creation of engaging content and then engaging with your audience. Otherwise it cools down and drops off. So it's interesting to hear, and making it work for you. I mean, why wouldn't you milk it? You said that. Why wouldn't you milk it? I mean, it's just.
I know, and I feel like it's such a thing. Sometimes it can be like a really scary thing of just putting yourself out personally out there in front of your brand, and it took me a while to get used to doing it. And sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm showing off because I'm like doing this and I'm doing that, and I still have that fear now when I'm putting it out there. But sometimes you just got to get over it. Like, even on my personal profile, whenever I post something about a personal achievement or the growth of the business, like, I get the most likes on my personal page more than anything, because people have bought into my career journey and they love seeing me like grow and grow. And even like I've got a book out now on Amazon and all sorts, and it's just people seeing those journeys, and they're excited for you and they see the development. When I see other suppliers now like really kind of stepping out and really pushing themselves forward, like, I'm excited for them and I want to see them grow. And you just got to put yourself out there and be as visible as possible. However scary it is, it's a huge thing.
No, it does take self-confidence and courage, but that's an attractive quality in a business for a prospective customer, right? They want to see that self-confidence. So yeah, I would agree with you, obviously, but it's interesting to hear your story. Obviously, we're all in the middle of a huge challenge at the moment, both business and personally, but particularly from the business perspective here. I'm interested in the other big challenges you faced in your business. So not COVID-19 or coronavirus related, but other challenges you've faced and how you've overcome those. I think lots of people will be really interested to hear that you have had challenges, I'm sure, and that you've overcome them. So tell us a little bit about those.
I'd say the biggest challenge has been probably growing a team. Team that we can trust, because obviously if you want to do more weddings, you need to grow a team and you need to be able to scale your business, and it's been finding that team that you can trust. But more importantly as well, it's having that knowledge that and kind of understanding that you can't do everything yourself. Like, if you want to grow a styling company, you can't be out on every single event or make every single piece of decor. You've got to kind of hand over the reins to people, and it took a while to build up that trust, because at the end of the day, you've worked like blood, sweat and tears to like get your business to where you want to be, and you want that standard to go out there and you want that to continue. I'm still very, very much involved with everything and looking over the quality of everything, and I'll still go on loads of events myself because that's what I do, that's what I love, and I enjoy being part of that. And I think I'll always do that, but be able to grow and be able to do multiple events is very much building a team and teaching the team what you know best and the quality and the standard. And like, my team know that I've got really high expectations with certain things, and they know what's good and what's not good enough, and the standard that's expected to go out, both product wise but also quality and customer service. And it's really important to have a strong team around you to be able to do that.
I mean, you sort of alluded to it a little there in your answer, which is fascinating, but how have you managed to balance your personal life with your business life over the years? I mean, events means long hours. It's obviously an evening, nighttime job for the actual event, but the planning and everything happens during the day, plus the weekends. How have you done that over the years?
Well, I've basically not slept for 12 years. Yeah, no, it's really important to balance. And I started my business when I went on maternity leave, so I brought up 2 kids during the growth of my business, and it really is balancing. It is balancing that time, and knowing, like, for a big thing in events now, like D-rigs are like kind of at the end of the event and packing down, it really takes a toll on you, like on your body and everything personally. And I built a team that could help with that aspect of it, so I didn't have to do necessarily as many like late night d-rigs. Still do a handful now. I do quite a lot now when we're busy, but I'm not doing anywhere near as much as I used to do. It's also like blocking out that time. Like every year I still try and take a few weeks holiday, and like my husband's a teacher and all my kids are at school, so we have to take our holidays in the busiest times of year, like the summer holidays and the Christmas holidays, and it's, you know, just blocking it out and having to do that. And luckily, like now I can still go away and we don't have to turn a work down. But I think it's so important in the early stages of giving yourself that time to kind of recoup and catch up with yourself, even if that does mean turning away business during that time, or if not, getting another company to support you during that time, so you can go away and have that break. Even for your business, it's so important because it just gives you time to readjust and rethink things, and just you need that mental space, so that's really important. And I think especially since lockdown as well, I've been going out for lots of walks, which I love doing, and I think I'm going to carry on doing when I go back, because literally life is crazy. Whether I've got 2 kids, and I know that when we go back it's going to be even more crazy with the number of work, but I still going to try and get that walk, that time for me, even if it's just an hour or a few hours a week, just to have that mental headspace. I think it's so important to give yourself time. The other thing for me is exercise as well, is a key thing of making sure that you look after yourself in terms of what you're eating and how you're exercising, and keeping yourself fit and strong. It has been really, really important, of making sure that you look after your health is key.
The exercise thing, you're right. Again, you know, I think lots of people have been given a little bit more time in the lockdown to go for walks, or start, you know, or if they used to do walking, they've now started running, or if they used to run, they've started running a bit further or a bit faster. You know, they've been given a bit of space, and I think there are some positives to come out of this, and I think that could be one of them, that sense of well-being, looking after yourself, and then carrying that through as a necessity into business when hopefully things pick up and we all go back to some sort of normality, whatever that may be. Having said all that, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice for 12 years ago when you started your business, what would that be?
Probably say right at the beginning, implement as many processes in your business as possible that can save you time, whether it's email inquiries or client management systems or how you deal with emails or all sorts. Get those processes really, really tight, because time is your biggest asset, and you need as much time as you can give yourself. So as many time saving kind of tips or hacks that you can do at the early stages, it's only going to benefit you.
Do you use any clever apps for your time management, or any sort of nice little software programs?
We use a lot. We've got
different things, lots for different things.
Different things. So, for example, we've got Package 4, and a lot of it integrates with each other, which makes such a difference. So, we've got an amazing quoting system that links with our accounting system. We've got a client management system. We've got an email system. So it's something it took us a while to implement it, but it's if I had it from kind of day one or right from the beginning, it probably wouldn't have been hard. Even little things like stock management systems. We probably, I think we've got over 1,000 lines of different stock items in our warehouse, and just trying to keep track of it and knowing what you've got in stock, and the time it can save you of you've got an inquiry for something, having to go into the warehouse and count how many you've got and different things. If you've got all of that on the computer, and you know whether it's booked out or something on that day, that's going to save you a ton of time. So yeah, there's so many different important tools that that I put in place as well.
And I'm sure you would divulge some of those secret top tips in your program that you're developing to help other stylists. So I'm sure that they could get that information from you if they join that course or that program. Let's just talk quickly about trends, because it's something that is you're the forefront of in your business and what you do for clients at their weddings. Are there any trends that you are looking at or creating, as you said earlier, for 21 and 22 that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, I think there's three big trends coming in now, and we're going to see over the next year. One of them is the geometric trend. We're seeing a lot of, especially gold, lots of geometric shapes, whether it's in backdrops or through centerpiece stands or all sorts. That, and even through to stationery, it's been coming through on cakes, and it's been in a while. It's been in for a while, but now it's even. And it started, I'd say, with the smaller details, and now it's kind of growing into bigger backdrops and all sorts. So that's a big trend. The tropical lux is another trend. So lots of palm trees, tropical leaves, and even tying it things with like orchids. Just actually like behind me.
I was about
the whole
to say,
kind of
like I'm annoyed that your backdrop is better than mine, because normally mine wins, but yours is better, which is annoying.
I want the stuff. So yeah. So this is actually a brand new backdrop that I built in my spare room at home. And also blush, I feel like blush is back. Blush has been around. It was a huge trend. It kind of went out of trend. Then I kind of feel like it's a trend that's never properly going to go away. But I think we're going to see a lot more blush in all different types of things, which I like because it's really pretty. But yeah.
Just finally, I want to look forward to 21, 22, and get your advice to any wedding business, the things that they should be looking at right now, to help them focus on getting ahead, recovering their business and growing in the future.
Yeah, so it's probably like a couple of things really. I would say organizing and streamlining what you do is key now, because next year is going to be manic for the whole industry, and the amount of work that we've got to take on, and it's all going back to those time-saving tips. So as much as you now can do now to prepare yourself for next year is going to really help, because you've got to remember we're going to be doing all of these weddings, but you've also going to be having to carry on selling for future years as well, so you can't let that affect you. So it's looking at how you're doing that and using this time now to learn and educate yourself as much as possible, that's going to support you, whether that's social media skills, or sales skills, or all sorts. Just use this time to learn as much as you can now, because when we get super busy, you're not going to have the time to do that. So it's making that most of the time, because we don't know how long this is going to last. Hopefully not too long, but we have got a lot more time on our hands now than we would usually. So it's making the most of that.
It makes complete sense, and I think across the board for any business, it's using the time now, the relatively unheard of downtime, to make sure that when things bounce back, that you're ready for it, because as you say, I think next year and 2022 could potentially be pretty busy for us. Debbie, thank you so much for your time. It's just fascinating to hear the insights of a business and how it's grown and developed into a pretty big entity over the last 12 years, especially when you've got kids and all the other normal life stuff to do as well. So it's really interesting to hear. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to events as we know and love them soon, and we wish you every continued success. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, pleasure, and thank you for having me. It's been great.